Gentleman from Texas, Mr. Roy.
I thank my colleague from California. Ms. Romero, you have testified about your experience in Aurora, Colorado. As we talked about at the beginning, I came to Aurora and visited with you and others that were impacted by what you were dealing with. To be clear, you felt terrorized in your home, in your apartment. We have an order, Mr. Chairman, can we?
If you have conversations, please take them off the dais.
Right.
And the gentleman's recognized.
With all respect to my colleagues, and I noticed Ms. Romero, who was bothered by, we're talking about people's lives, Americans' lives. Ms. Romero, your life. True, yes or no, in short answer, was your life turned upside down by the existence of Tren de Aragua in your home, in your apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado?
Absolutely, and continues to be.
And people were endangered. American citizens, Americans were in danger.
I was in danger. My family was in danger. I couldn't get my grandchildren to even come visit. It was dangerous over there. The police didn't want to respond. The local government in Aurora did not want to acknowledge. There was continued pushback and gaslighting.
And I mentioned earlier when I opened up this, the extent to which we had a young woman here who was testifying last year in this committee, Alexis Nungre, whose daughter Jocelyn was murdered at the hands of Tren de Aragua members in Houston, Texas. Is that acceptable?
It's absolutely not acceptable.
And so let me ask you this. Should TDA gang members or MS-13 gang members be removed and deported from the United States of America? Let me first ask Ms. Shaw, Professor Shaw, should they be removed?
The president certainly has the authority to make that determination. The question is, how do we know who is a member of these bodies?
So these members should be removed. These TDA gang members, MS-13 gang members who are posing a danger to the American people and citizens should be removed from the United States of America.
I am a scholar. I'm not going to take a policy position on how immigration should be enforced or carried out.
But you comment on these issues all the time.
I opine on the law, and the president has certain authority, significant authority, to enforce the immigration laws, but the Constitution is supreme.
So the president has significant authority as the Commander-in-Chief to protect the United States.
Of course.
Ms. Romero, do you think these TDA gang members and MS-13 gang members and other dangerous individuals should be removed from the United States so they do not pose a harm to American citizens?
Every last one of them.
And given that, do you believe it was appropriate for the president to remove those that were removed that Judge Boasberg decided to, from his perch in the district court in the District of Columbia, stop or attempt to stop a plane leaving Harlingen, Texas, to remove said individuals because this judge in D.C. decided to assert that he had jurisdiction over that plane that the Commander-in-Chief was using to remove these dangerous individuals from our country? Do you think the president was right or the judge was right?
I think the president was absolutely right. If you can describe them as illegal and an immigrant to this country and a criminal all at the same time, they need to go out of our country.
Much has been made of this individual from Maryland. To be clear, this is an individual that by all accounts was a member and affiliated with MS-13, the dangerous gang in Maryland. I will not. This individual was affiliated with MS-13, had an order of removal against him, was here illegally in the United States of America, and was put on a plane, a separate plane, by the way, from the one under the alien enemies removal, because he was on an order of removal. Now, the fact is, I think my colleagues on the other side of the aisle would like the American people to believe that it is more important for us to be concerned about the specific mechanics of an individual illegal alien affiliated with MS-13 endangering the American people, and whether or not the intricacies of due process about what claims that guy was making to alleged asylum. By the way, asylum because he was afraid of what might happen to him at the hands of the gangs he affiliated with if he's sent back home to El Salvador, that would somehow trump the extent to which Ms. Romero or Alexis Nungre would be the ones that are put down at the hands of dangerous gangs, making your life upside down as an American citizen. Do you think that's fair, Ms. Romero?
It is not fair, and I have rights too. And we weren't asked permission to allow these unvetted criminals into our country. And nobody stopped them once we sounded the alarm. Something has to be done now.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for being here. We've talked a little bit about what we might be able to do. And you talked about the fast track to the court and so forth. I remain of the belief, and I think, we've passed legislation out of here, and I think it'd be important to send that to the Senate. I agree with you, to send a message to the Supreme Court. I would posit and see if you agree. I think we need to clarify for the record, for both sides of the aisle, in response to my friend from Colorado's commentary, that we had a wake-up call for our Democratic friends when suddenly there were some judges in the Northern District of Texas who were saying, wait a minute, we don't think some of these ridiculous rulings about men being in locker rooms with our girls in schools should somehow be okay because radical administrators under the Biden administration were allowing it to occur. Do you agree that having a ability to say that you're not going to have a nationwide injunction at the hands of one judge, but then have a process by which you can have a nationwide injunction, either through a 3-judge panel at the appellate or fast track to the court? To clarify for the record, we're saying that's not a partisan exercise, that we're saying that no one judge should make that there should be a process though, and there are times when a nationwide injunction does need to occur to stop administrators from making law.
The gentleman's time has expired, but you may answer.
Well, whether it is a liberal or a conservative, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, the very concept of the distribution of power in the American system would indicate that no single person should have the power to dictate to the entire country what they personally happen to believe that week. And I think that we need to demystify the process of judgeship, recognize that it's occupied by humans. There's an amazing passage from Jefferson where he says, look, these are people. They're subject to exactly the same problems as politicians or anybody else, and you can't put them up on a pedestal. So you've got to have a system which blocks power from being exploited by the personality or the idiosyncrasies of one person imposing on 335 million people. And I think that what Chairman Issa has brought out is a very useful first step. As I said earlier, I think the Chief Justice could vitiate this entire issue if he took the right steps. But I think we as a people cannot allow random individuals arrogate to themselves being alternative presidents and imposing their personal will on the entire country.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
Thank you.